And we are back as we continue our conversations on COVID-19 program. Food banks, as you imagine, are being stretched to the limit, so to speak. One of the ones in our area is the HandUP Foundation, which is based out of Milton. Joining us today are Patty Snyder and Rachel Colley from the HandUP Foundation. Thank you very much for joining us, ladies.
Thank you. It's nice to be here.
Okay, so we'll start off as I usually do, asking people what were your reactions, both of you, when things started to head south about 2 months ago?
Scary. Not knowing where you're going to be able to get the food for the people that need it.
For me, it brought on a lot of personal things because, you know, I have a family, so I worry about my family. I have a mother that's older, and we have 4 generations live in our house. So we have a little baby as well. And it was very scary. It was, you know, you worry about your personal people and then worrying about the people who use HandUP Foundation, because we know the need was already present for food and assistance and different things that HandUP does. So we knew that right away we were going to be needed by the community.
So as Rachel said, and you just alluded to, you realized the implications right away from this, didn't you?
I think we both did, because we both talked about it a lot, about how we were going to process more people and how we were going to be able to handle that.
So what did you conclude? What were some of the immediate changes you made right away?
One of the things that we did right away is talked about how we were going to be able to do that very next month's food. We always had our doors open, people could come in, and we would have things bagged and ready for them, but also had a shelf that they could pick from. And for the extras that maybe they didn't have, like ketchup and mustard or something like that, or if they needed more vegetables for their family. So we had a whole shelving unit just for that. And we knew that that wasn't going to happen because we couldn't have that many people coming in and going through our food supply. So we knew right away that we were going to have to be packaging everything and finding a new process.
So, but as far as long-term, well, actually, you said you were worried about the next food drive. I know, like when we initially went to the store, we were wiping down everything we brought back. Was that the same with you when you got donations? You had to go through that whole process?
Well, we used gloves, we cleaned things, we made sure that everything that was coming through was going to be safe for other people to use. So Rachel can talk about what she did in the process of getting the food together for us to re-hand it back out.
When we get a donation in, it'll come in on skids, and there's a couple of us that get together and we separate everything and put like all our canned goods in different type of boxes. Like our vegetables will go in one and our soups will go in one. But then when it comes to the point of having to put them together to give them out, we'll set them up on a table and pick out so many for each category. And instead of packing in a bag now, since this virus has started, we started packing in banana boxes. And we actually fill the banana box before it goes out the door.
So that's one of the long-term changes you've made as well, the way you're handling the food?
Yes.
Absolutely. We're handling the food differently. And we are, during the process, we're handling it differently. And then when we're giving it out, we're handling it much different. We used to have people lined up. And then, like I said, they come in, they get a grocery cart, they be able to get their foods and move it out to their car and load it. So that whole process has changed. And we're not sure how it's ever going to go back to the other way at this point. We're just going month by month and deciding if we can ever really reopen it the way that we used to.
So how do you conduct the food giveaways, the drives now? Do they litter? Is it curbside or?
What we do is we have a table that we sit outside, and it's a 6-foot table, and on each end we have it divided by family, so we can do 2 families at one time. But so we will have a banana box full of food. We'll have a bag of produce, a bag of meat. We'll have extra vegetables. So sometimes we have bread, milk, whatever we have. And then what we can do is we call one car up at a time. And when that car, we have people that fill it. The people don't even get out of their car. We just ask them to pop their trunk, or do you want it in the back seat, or how would you like us to handle it? What we are finding is a lot of people are coming together. So families are coming together. So if there's a mother and a son that live in 2 different households, they'll come together in one car, and really by the time they leave, their car's pretty full of food.
So how many families were you dealing with before this happened, and how many afterwards?
So we have the food bank, and then we have emergency food baskets. So in the combination of both of those, we were probably doing close to 300 a month, give or take some. You know, could have been 275 one month. You know, you never know because of the emergency food baskets, how many we're going to have in that month. Last month, we did 300 families, which I think there was maybe 50 new. So this month, we are expecting close to 100 new families.
Wow. So
that's what we're prepared for.
How do you adjust for something like that?
Well, thankfully, we have a lot of local businesses who have been very supportive of us. We, ConAgra, they give us Chef Boyardee foods every month. So they get a case of that. Each family will get a case of that. We have Wise Market, where their warehouse gives us 3 to 4 flats of food a month. So that's really helpful for all the extras. It's always canned foods and maybe, you know, some sugar, flour, some different things. So we're very fortunate to have that. We also have a local church, First Presbyterian Church in Milton, and they have a gentleman who brings us produce every month, each week, that we have our food bank. And that would be usually there's potatoes and some sort of a fruit that we're able to give out. We have the Central Food Bank, you know, that gives us food. And then this past month, it was this month that we're in, not the past month, we, the First Presbyterian Church, they made arrangements with Fetter's Meats, and they purchased chicken for our people. So we're getting 4 pounds of chicken per person that they can go into Fetter's Meat Market and get fresh chicken.
Wow, that's amazing that people have stepped up like that to help you guys fill the need.
It has been very nice. And I just got a phone call, excuse me, this past week to get fruit and vegetable boxes starting next month from a place in Berwick. And I wish I could remember the name. I just don't remember. But we have been very fortunate that we have enough food for the families that are in need.
So it sounds like it was more of a gradual thing. You had 50 that first month, now 100 more this next month you're expecting. So you've been able to compensate for that. Do you expect that number to keep rising?
Yeah,
I do.
definitely, I think so.
I don't know if it'll be long lasting as far as when people get back to their jobs, but I certainly believe that it's going to last well into the summer and maybe fall.
Okay, so you've been able to come up with different sources of food. It sounds from the church and Conagra and Wises and stuff like that. Are people giving you more monetary donations to help out?
Uh, Somewhat, yes. Not as, not as much as we could probably use because even, we have to pay for the electric for the walk-in freezer and things like that. But we are receiving some, which is nice. And we certainly wouldn't turn away any money that people would like to donate to the food bank.
So as far as, are you getting more help though for drives from volunteers as well to help out during this time?
We have had new volunteers start.
We have had more people come in and are willing to help out.
Is it just because of this, Rachel?
Yeah, I think it is, because they see the need that there are people wanting to help and needing your help, and they're here to help put everything together and take it out the door.
We have 2 different or 3 different groups, and because of the distancing, it's been hard, but we are trying to separate everybody. We have our church here has a little room that we gather in, and so we kind of been using that to do the distancing. So we have 2 people maybe back getting the boxes together, and then people out getting the vegetables together in our multimedia room. And then, we have people that are outside, filling the need for putting it in the vehicles.
Have you noticed that you've had to maybe help the new people a little more because they might not be used to going to a food drive?
I think that what I have seen is a thankfulness. And because the system is kind of new to us, that drive-through system, it's kind of like people don't know what to do or where to go. And we hadn't had enough people to kind of have somebody just directing traffic. So we're kind of on this honor system when we have 7 or 8 cars pull in and park all at once, trying to see who should come first. So it's kind of like I try to keep track. But once, it's usually about after the first hour, we get people in the rotation that's right. But it's been a little difficult with that because we don't really know what we're doing because it's all new to us. So it kind of makes it a little difficult to kind of lead somebody when you're not sure where you want to lead them to. But yeah, there's a concern, there's a concern when they come in, whether or not, gee, I don't know if I should even be here to get food. Yes, you should be here to get food. If you need food, you should be here. This is where you should be. We're here for you. But I've heard several people say, I don't even know if I should even be here, but I need food. So.
How do people find out about your drives, and when are they? Where are they?
Okay, so we, the Milton Food Bank through HandUP is at 262 Willow Street, but you have to come down around the building, and that's where the food bank's located. It is the first 2 Wednesdays of every month, and that is 9 to 3. And then if people do need to have food as an emergency food bank, they just need to find me or find us on Facebook and just send a message. And I usually get back to them right away to be able to give them their food basket that same day.
Okay, so we usually end our segments by asking, we already heard how you reacted initially, but just checking in with you to see how you're handling this situation personally.
Well, I guess I'm getting used to wearing the mask all the time. But otherwise, it seems like we just kind of hibernate at home. The only place we go basically is here in the grocery store, because it's just, in the age bracket we're in, it's too scary to go out and be amongst people. And I don't want to take the chance.
And I have to say, Rachel and her husband are huge volunteers, and they direct the food bank for us. So I just want to make sure that everyone knows the appreciation we have for both of them, because they come in, and preparation time isn't just an hour here or an hour there. They spend at the least amount of time, probably 18 to 25 hours a week.
Wow.
To get ready for one food bank, even with all the volunteers, I'm thinking we probably have 40 hours in just getting ready for the first week of food bank, and then the second week. I don't know how long it took you to, we are ready for 150 people for tomorrow, and we may have more than that. And how long have you worked in that?
Oh, we spent about 15 hours altogether.
So 15 hours, and that doesn't even count. Tomorrow is going to be an 8-hour day times 7 or 8 people.
Wow. Busy times.
It's very busy. And we have community members who are coming out to help. So it's just been a blessing to HandUP to have these volunteers.
And that must feel pretty good to help out.
Yes.
I think it does. I think, of course I work at HandUP, but I can't tell you how much I appreciate our volunteers.
So how are you?
Go ahead. I couldn't do it by myself. I do know that. I'm doing okay. I'm back here about 20 hours a week, and I'm doing pretty well. It's scary. My allergies are acting up, and I cough a little bit, and I'm like panicked. Am I getting sick? Am I getting sick? Am I getting sick? But we kind of, besides for me coming in here and really in the office, we're not real close to each other. I keep my office door pretty much closed. And so what hours I'm putting in here, I'm by myself. And really, I only go to the grocery store or to Walmart if I have to. And I have a set of parents that I've been my mother lives with us, but then I have another set of parents, and so I'm pretty busy, making sure that they're okay, and I'm doing all their shopping. So it's kind of busy, and it's scary. It's scary, but I don't think we're to live in fear either. So I don't want to live in fear, and I'm here to do what we can for the community and not live in fear. But
Patty Snyder, Rachel Colley from the HandUP Foundation, thank you so much for your efforts. I'm sure they're much appreciated. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And that's going to do it for this episode of the In Your Neighborhood special series, Conversations on COVID-19. I'm your host, Chris O'Rourke. Thanks for joining us, and stay safe out there.